Who thought you could turn a dance into a film, eh? Hello and welcome back to Popcorn Chat. I hope you're all doing well. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about Apple TV's latest release, Cha Cha Real Smooth. Written, directed and starring Cooper Raiff, this film follows Andrew, a 22-year-old who's just finished college, and he doesn't really know what he's doing with his life in terms of career, so he's moving back home with his family. So there's sort of tension there. He's got his mum, his younger brother, and also his stepdad. So he's trying to find who he is. He's got a potential girlfriend, partner in Barcelona. He's going to try and go and see her. But at the same time, he sort of falls upon this sort of possible job career of being a party starter for bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs, sort of in the local area. So that sort of sends him on a different path. And along that journey, he comes across Domino and Lola, a mother and daughter, and there's a sort of narrative there as he sort of gets a lot closer to those two and sort of sets him off on a different path. So as I mentioned, Cooper Raiff stars in this film and he wrote and directed it. We also have Dakota Johnson, who plays Domino, and we have Vanessa Burgart, who plays Lola. So they're mother and daughter in this film. Alongside them, we have Leslie Mann, who plays Andrew's mother. We also have Evan Asante, who plays Andrew's younger brother. And we have Brad Garrett as Andrew's stepdad. So there's lots of familiar faces in here and lots of new actors and up-and-coming actors that I've never seen before. So lots of people were able to check this one out at Sundance earlier this year, but it's been released on Apple TV, so I was able to catch this. And I went into it blind, trying not to see any spoilers or anything. I just heard this was a great film, heard the name, saw Dakota Johnson was in it, and I was sold. And yeah, I'm going to give you some of my positive thoughts on this film first. Casting in this film is great. Like I mentioned, we've got some actors that we are all familiar with, mainly doing a lot of comedic roles as well. And then we have a lot of, especially sort of young actors, and everyone plays their part. I think everyone is really, really good in this film. I think no matter if they are familiar faces or we have new actors, such as Vanessa Burgart and Evan Asante, I think they do absolutely brilliant. I'm not a massive fan of child actors, but I think they are perfect in terms of the narrative for this film. The main part of this film is that Andrew is a party starter at these bar mitzvah parties, and the first time that he meets Lola and Domino, he encourages them to get up and dance, try and sort of get everyone involved, and that sort of sets up his character really, really well. And he is always really sort of affectionate and sort of caring towards Lola. He always tries to make sure she's included, and when there's times that people are picking on her, he's there to sort of stamp that out and really sort of actions against any sort of sort of discrimination towards her being autistic. I think he's really, really sweet character and is really what people need to be. People need to be better, and I think he's just the dynamic between Andrew and Lola and Domino as well is sort of this beautiful sort of triangle, and his he's just there to be a nice person. I don't think he's doing it for Domino. I think he's just being it to be a nice person, and that's nice to see in films because we don't see that much, just a genuinely nice person. Another main positive is Dakota Johnson. Full stop. I don't need to say anymore. Dakota Johnson is one of my favourite actresses. I think she is excellent in everything I've seen her in. I think she is someone who can bring so much to a role. If you've seen The Peanut Butter Falcon, I think you're going to love this film as well. What she's so good at in this film is the fact that she can do so much by saying so little. And what I mean by that is there's scenes where you'd see Andrew and Lola sort of, talking and is sort of, having this sort of friendship, and we would cut to Domino's face and she doesn't need to say anything. You can read her face and see 1,000 emotions behind it. And I think she does it really, really well here. And I think the chemistry she has with Lola and with Andrew are excellent in this. This film is very much about character, and it takes a while for us to sort of get to that point, but we see how caring and nurturing Andrew is in terms of including everyone and making sure that they're having fun and enjoying themselves. And then we see this interaction later on between himself and Domino, and he sort of puts on this brave face really, and doesn't sort of crumble in that moment, and then he goes away into his own sort of car and we see him just crumble. And I think that says a lot about his character, and that he's just trying his best and, you know, putting on this front in order to make other people feel good about themselves. And we hadn't seen that to that point in the film, and I thought that was a really sort of pivotal moment to sort of show this character is not, you know, we're all human. There's, you know, it's not just black and white, there's variations. And I think that was a really key moment for Andrew as a character, and I'm really glad that they wrote that in. So in terms of negatives, I don't think there's many. I'm not sure if Cooper Raiff as Andrew is probably the best person for that character. Maybe they could have cast someone else, I'm not too sure. I had no idea that he was the director and writer until looking up after seeing the film. So knowing that information now, I can definitely see he's probably more comfortable in those roles. But I think I would have liked to have seen someone else portray Andrew to allow him to have, you know, more separation from the directing and writing role. But I understand it's his project, it's his baby, but I think there may have been someone better to sort of lead this film. That's just me. Cha-Cha Real Smooth is a real slice of life film. It looks at varying sort of emotions. It's very sort of self-reflective, you know, looking upon your 20s especially. Very, very relevant to me. And having that sort of willingness to go that extra mile to make sure someone is happy and okay and everyone's included. I think that's a key takeaway I got from this film. So there's a lot of positives to take away from this film, even though it's quite emotional, really. I think, yeah, it's a really interesting, uplifting slice of life film that I think most people will enjoy. Cha-Cha Real Smooth is out on Apple TV, and it's even out in selected cinemas. Once you've seen it, let me know your thoughts. I'd love to read them down below in the comments, and love to get a discussion going about this film. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon for another popcorn chat.